2, 3.
I think that was pretty close.
I heard both of you guys clap at the same time.
Okay, then it's good. Okay. I guess I'll start off and do the intro then, if nobody else wants to take the helm of it.
You go right ahead,
Nope.
buddy.
Okay. Welcome everybody to Apartment B21, V2, if you might want to call it. Second iteration of the first try. I am Ryan, and then with me I have Mav and then Log. If they want to introduce themselves.
Yep. I'm Log.
I'm Mav.
See, there you go. Now we have all the voices. All right. Today I wanted to talk about one of the members here that's going to be on the podcast every month. This isn't just like a one-time thing just because we're kind of sort of interviewing him. We know him. Other people listening may or may not. So Log has his own clothing brand under the name Under Pressure Apparel. And we're just going to ask him a few questions about like what that entails, like how it came to be and so on. You excited?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. You want to start off with some questions?
Where'd you get the name?
I mean, I just like it's the only one that came to me and stuck. So like I was trying to think of names and it just kept coming back to me. Under pressure. Always felt like I was under pressure by something. If it's not one thing, it's another. It's always something.
No, I mean
And yeah, I just went with that. I'm sure a lot of people can relate too. So that's why
yeah.
I decided to do it, because it's not just something that I can relate to. I feel like a lot of people can relate to it.
Yeah, and as far as what your brand, could you describe a little bit about like where you get some of your ideas from, or like by that I mean like what you're looking for when getting designs and stuff, like what type of aesthetic you're trying to reach?
I don't think anything like there's anything specific, which some brands, they have a very specific niche aesthetic, but I don't feel like I want to limit myself to one thing. So what I do is I watch like movies and TV shows and anime and shit like that, and if I ever get inspired by anything, I'll try to think of a way I can incorporate into a design or something with my brand, because I just want to make things that I like, that I would wear, because I think that's the best way to do it. If you're making things that you wouldn't wear, like that, you just need to quit what you're doing, and that's it. So like I just try to make things that I like, and
no,
other
I mean
people
I totally get that, because
like
you have a
it
little bit
too.
more passion in your work.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're not passionate and you're making stuff that you just think will be popular, and you wouldn't like, if you wouldn't go outside your house and wear that and feel comfortable wearing it, you shouldn't be making it and selling it.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I definitely. Oh, sorry.
So did I hear that you were taking some inspiration from anime?
Yeah, and I don't have any designs at the moment from anime, but it definitely it's something I would like to do, because I do like anime.
Do you think you'll just
like
do
to
like
watch it here and
a
there.
set line that's inspired by some of your favorites?
Yeah, that is something I might do eventually. I have some plans for themed designs, because like I said, I don't want to theme my whole brand about one specific thing, but it's because of the whole thing where I'm into a lot of different things. So why would I limit myself? So I can do whole drops themed with things I like, and maybe an anime themed drop one day. Like I have plans for like a car themed drop with a bunch of designs related to cars and stuff.
No, I think that's really cool. I can't wait to see all of that. You know, everybody here really likes the stuff you're doing. Not just because you're our friend and all, but you know, your shirts are very high quality and hella fucking comfy, dude.
Yeah, I really try to make things that are nice quality. I'm very picky, so I like I said, it's all back to, if you wouldn't wear it, don't sell it. I don't want to make things that aren't comfortable, that aren't gonna last a long time. I've tried out a lot of different t-shirts, and the one I'm using right now is the one I'm gonna stick with for a while until I find something better. But I don't see that happening, just because I think I found a really good one. So they're nice and comfortable. They'll last a long time. They don't fall apart after one wash.
Yeah, they're very thick. The last shirts that I got, they're very
Yeah, in the clothing business, there's there's like two different types of shirts. There's like a lightweight and a heavyweight. I hate lightweight shirts. They're just like the thinner ones. They weigh them by like ounces per, I think it's square yard or something like that, or square meter. I don't know, but I use a 6 ounce blank, and it's heavier, thicker. It just feels like it's gonna last a long time, and it does.
When you say like, are they made out of different materials to get that weight, or is it just like?
No, it's just the way that the shirt is made, and it's like how they it's all cotton. What I use,
So is it
100%
is it just
cotton.
more material being
It's
used in between each stitch? Is that a good word to use?
Yeah, pretty much. It has to do with how they make it, and also how they treat the cotton. Like there's ring spun cotton, there's combed cotton, and some of them are softer, but they have different effects as they get washed. Like I don't know if you know what pilling is, but sometimes cotton will pill and create little fuzz balls on the shirt.
Yeah,
which
yeah. Now that you've described it, I know
it's-
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens a lot more with hoodies because it's just thicker and softer. Hoodies are, but a lot of like there's some good hoodies out there that don't pill, which is good. But it happens to shirts too sometimes.
Right, right.
It's just all on how they're made.
So as far as like I'm gonna go a little bit off of like just I'm gonna go into the distribution of it. Like when you do your clothing, you do all local, right?
Not all local, but I try to keep everything local when I can. Like I get a lot of messages that people just like DMs on Instagram, people wanting to know where I get my stuff made and this and that. And it's really not that simple, but at the same time it's really simple. I get my stuff made locally because I think that's the best way to do it, because one, you're supporting local businesses, which is great. Two, you can I can get in my car, drive to see the person who I work with to make my shirts and print on them and get stuff embroidered. So that really helps. And three, which kind of has to do with two, is like I can see the product way faster than if I got it done like overseas or in another state, or just like an online shop that works on printing and embroidery. I can literally get in a couple days rather than a couple weeks. So
Yeah.
it helps a lot. And
How's that affected you with COVID? Sorry for interrupting. Just curious.
it hasn't affected me at all, not one bit. My shop, they've been open the whole time, and they've worked with me, and it's actually helped because they've been less busy because of it. Like no schools and events. They do a lot of stuff for schools and events. So right now they don't have that because schools and events aren't a thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're able to get my stuff made a lot quicker, which is great.
Right. Well, that's cool. I mean, it's cool that you're like a supporter of a local business, because a lot of those places right now are struggling, and I'm glad to hear that they're still open, functioning at 100%.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'm helping him. He's helping me. It works great.
Have there been any struggles for yourself within the past few months due to all this?
With work, not my brand, but like actual work, yeah, there was a lot of struggles. I was working with a guy who like had a cough. It turns out he wasn't sick with COVID at all, but it was right when it was all starting, and since he had a cough, I wasn't able to work for like a week. And we were told we were going to get paid because it was COVID related, but it was right before they put in like the law or whatever that was going to get employees paid. So they didn't have to pay us, so they didn't, which is kind of fucked up,
Shit, yeah.
in my opinion. Like they told us they were going to pay us, then they found out they didn't have to, so they didn't pay us.
Not really surprised.
So yeah, I missed a week of work, and then something else happened a couple weeks later, had to miss more work. Once again, never got it. No one got it, but just because someone was sick, I had to miss work. I never got sick though, and it was just kind of a shitty situation, but it all worked out because the time I missed, I was able to work on my clothing brand a lot more than I would have been, and I don't even want to know where I'd be at if I wasn't able to spend that time working on my clothing brand, because it just all worked out perfectly, and it was very good timing, as bad as it is to say. Because another thing is, a lot of people during the beginning, they weren't at school. There were a lot of younger people on their phones, So I was able to like reach more people because of that, and it really helped me grow.
No, I mean, I definitely hear where you're coming from. Um, were there any like uh cool, like I know how you mentioned that you were able to get a lot done. Were there any like really awesome ideas that like came to light? Not that you have to describe any of them, but like anything like major spark from this for you?
Um, I'm trying to think of when this all actually started. I think it was like kind of right, or at least here. I think it here where we are, it really started about a little after a week into March. So I officially like announced my brand on March 1st. I'd been working on it for probably a month or so before. Like I decided I was gonna actually like do this, and I don't really want to talk about it too much, but I already had a lot of experience because this isn't my first brand. I was working on one with a close friend of mine, so I already knew what I was doing. So it's not like I was starting at like stage one. Like I already had all the knowledge that someone starting a brand wouldn't have.
So you were just able to go into it, almost like a blank slate, minus you still had the slate.
Yeah, it was a completely blank slate, but I didn't have to do nearly as much research because I already knew everything.
Right.
So I was able to skip the hard part of learning everything and just go right into the hard part of marketing, which is the toughest part of a brand by far.
Right, and then on that note, you've been doing incredibly well, only being up since mid-March. It's now, as of the time of recording, May 30th, and you're almost at 7,500 followers on Instagram.
Yes,
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's been very exciting because, like I said, it's like nothing I've ever felt before. All the positive feedback of working a brand. It's just nice people liking what I'm creating. It's a great feeling.
No, I mean, I bet. Hearing like when I go through the comments, and on your post, it's just like overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, I mean, and like with everything, there's always going to be a couple people that are just hating on it just because that's all they know what to do is just shit on other people. But yeah, and I'll try to like message them back, like saying something, but I don't let it get to me at all. I'll block them if they're really, really trying to go crazy or something, but
Right.
I don't let those negative people get to me at all.
No, and you shouldn't. I mean, it's just always words.
Yeah, and with the whole negative thing, right now with clothing brands, like a great thing to do is use TikTok as a marketing platform, just because TikTok, I don't know when it like actually started, but I'd like to think this year is when it really started to get really popular. So I've seen a lot of clothing brands on there, and a friend of mine who also has a clothing brand, he kept telling me, oh, like you need to get on TikTok. I know TikTok is like lame or whatever, but it'll help you get followers and like it'll get you some sales. So I tried it out, and like at one point I had more followers on TikTok than I did on Instagram, just because of like the reach that TikTok allows you to get.
Right.
It's just crazy, but full circle, TikTok is the most toxic place I've ever seen. It is extremely toxic. Like not even on my post. Well, I mean definitely on my post. Like I'll post something and then a kid will be like, "Oh, this sucks," and like he'll have like 3 followers, a profile picture of a meme, and no post at all.
And 10 followers.
Yeah, like an anime profile, not even anime profile pictures, because they're pretty tame. The anime fans that have profile pictures, at least on TikTok, I don't see many of them. It's like just these stupid memes for profile pictures or something, and they have like 3 followers, and they just talk shit, and but like a whole completely separate, like just scrolling down, like you can click the comments on any video, and there will be someone just talking shit.
Yeah, I never
It's
got
extremely toxic.
the shit talk community. I mean, trust me. I mean, I've shit talked in my day plenty, but like I never understood like going onto somebody's video or
yeah. I mean,
person
I've
just
never
talking
been
shit.
one to
Like,
do that.
Constructive criticism, sure, but like never be like, dude, you fucking suck.
Yeah, like I'm on the same exact page as you. I've never been one to do that. Just like see someone else's content, click on the comment button and say something like rude or something. I've just never really understood that like at all. I just think it's like, why waste your time? But everyone's different. I mean, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me.
No, I totally get it. Do you have any other questions about his brand and everything?
I mean, no, I think you've covered just about everything. Yeah, no, that.
Log, is there anything that you wanna cover before we change topics?
I don't think so. I mean, there's always next week. If you guys think of any more questions, like just ask me, or not next week. I don't know how often we're doing this, but just next time.
Right.
If you guys think of any questions you want to ask me about my brand, like that you think of over the course of time till we do this next podcast, yeah, just ask me then. Cause yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if anybody watching isn't already following his Instagram. Logan, what's your Instagram? What's the ad?
It is Under Pressure Apparel. It's the letter U, the word pressure, then the word apparel. And it's the same on TikTok. If you have TikTok, which I don't know if most people do, but same thing there. Twitter can't have that many characters, so it's just U pressure and then APP. That's it.
Awesome. Yeah. Anybody who's listening who didn't know about his brand beforehand or isn't following, go ahead and give him a follow if you want to check out what he's got coming. Because from things that we hear, I mean, it's going to be crazy the next few months. So
yeah, I have some big things planned.
Well, that's awesome. Now, we were talking a little bit about COVID earlier. I know with Log, it affected his job, but like in a benefit. As far as the rest of us here, how has that been? Because I know we're a little bit late to the journey as far as talking about COVID, but
I want to hear how it's affected you, Ryan, because I think we should save how it's affected until after we've heard how it's affected
me.
Yes.
Okay, so during most of the COVID stuff, I was working in a pharmacy. Recently had a job change there, but I was working in pharmacy up until that point. So in healthcare, I mean, most healthcare jobs are gonna be you are definitely necessary. It didn't really affect me until probably the beginning of May, as far as the way my work worked, because we'd still have people come in, we'd still interact normally. Getting to work was easier because I worked downtown, which would typically take me a couple of hours, like an hour or two to get to early in the morning, but it would take me like 30 minutes flat. It didn't affect me until like the mask mandate kind of went down, and other than that, wasn't even really that big of a deal. But outside of work, I mean, even still, not much. I mean, here, even though we were under a stay-at-home order, I mean, for the most part, most businesses stayed open. Like, I could go get food and diapers for my kid. Like, it just didn't affect me as much as it could have affected some other people around the country.
All right. But then nothing really crazy happened for you?
Oh, no. I mean, I worked in healthcare, but I didn't work in the necessary part of healthcare.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go over a few things that I didn't touch on earlier about my COVID experience with work related. Before we move on to Mav. So yeah, like I was working in construction, not like digging construction, building buildings, but I did electric work, which is still technically construction. I worked on construction sites. I didn't do like home stuff. I did just big buildings and all that stuff. But the job site I was working on for most of it, until they had us leave because someone was sick. It was a very large, like I want to say over 500 person job site. Right when all of this COVID stuff started, and they weren't going to close it down. We were essential workers, which I kind of disagreed with. It was for the economic benefit. That's why we were essential. But yeah, the best part was that the drive there was not nearly as bad because I was also driving to Nashville, and it was nice having no traffic at all. Like some days we got there in 20 minutes, which normally it was from 40 to like an hour. It was nice, and then I was able to quit because my brand is doing good enough to where I can work on my brand full time now. So now I'm not affected at all, which is kind of it's very good.
Yeah,
That was my whole experience with COVID.
Now, Mav, I know you probably aren't going to talk about any much of what you do, because you do more into the real healthcare stuff. But
I don't mind talking about it.
Do you got any crazies going on?
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. I want to hear your experience.
So, when everything started, the United States was not really prepared for any sort of outbreak anywhere. There was a lack of testing. Now I'm feel pretty comfortable talking about my workplace because I mean it happened. We had in the place I work at, if somebody were to come in with symptoms of COVID, at least in the very beginning, we and the emergency physician thought that they'd be able to go back home and be fine. We wouldn't test them because there was no real testing available. They would just be sent home and told to quarantine for 14 days. So that went on for quite a while. When we started having patients come in that needed to be hospitalized and treated for COVID, we would have to send out all of our tests to a state lab. And normally by the time we would get results back, it would be close to 5 to 6 days after we sent it out. So we had a lot of patients in the beginning that we would care for that long and not know if they were positive or not. On top of that, PPE has also been a really big thing that's been going around. In the beginning, there would be...
I'm gonna pause you real quick.
Yeah.
For people who don't know.
Oh yeah, sorry. Personal protective equipment. So that would be like the plastic gowns that we wear and the masks and face shields and stuff like that. With COVID, it's extremely infectious. So we would need to wear a gown, a surgical mask, a face shield, which is pretty much just a piece of plastic that kind of goes over the entirety of your face with the mask, and gloves and things of that nature. So we'd have to wear all of that. In the beginning, there was a lot of change. I mean, even throughout the day, we would have meetings twice a day with our floor director to kind of go over what the CDC and who had changed in the past 12 hours. I remember one day taking care of a patient that was under suspicion, and about every 15 minutes for 2 hours, it kept going back and forth between the different stuff that we were supposed to wear. So I'd come out of the room and somebody would find me and go, "Oh, you need to wear something better than that." And I'd go in next time and come back out and somebody would say, "Yeah, you don't need to wear all of that. You can just wear this mask instead." So that was definitely frustrating.
Yeah, that definitely seems like you're going up and down a roller coaster there. Yeah, don't wear a mask. They don't have it.
Yeah.
Actually, you might want to go back in there and double check.
Yeah.
They running a fever yet?
So it's definitely been worrisome to have to deal with all of that, especially with I live with my girlfriend who's got asthma, and the pre-existing conditions kind of amplify COVID, so worrying about bringing something home to her, or I mean even getting other patients sick is definitely a fear of mine. Thankfully,
It's very understandable.
right now, COVID's kind of toned down quite a bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite call it dying
No,
down
no, no,
yet, but
no.
tone down's a good
There,
word.
there are we. I mean, at the hospital I work at, we still have active cases. There are still new cases coming in every day. I know Nashville's starting to open back up, and I know everywhere else in the United States is starting to open back up. And I just, from someone who's dealt with it, don't think that because you are young that you are invincible. I had multiple patients that were in their 30s and younger that were needing supplemental oxygen, that were needing, to be monitored in the ICU because they were that sick and they had no pre-existing conditions. They didn't have any, COPD or heart failure, things that affect your lungs. Completely healthy until they got it. So just wear a mask. I know it's not comfortable. Trust me, I know it's not comfortable. But wearing a mask for 30 minutes while you go get a haircut or go get groceries is better than staying in the hospital for 2 weeks, not feeling like you can breathe. So.
True. Yeah. And I think that message needs, like, I feel like not a lot of people kind of grasp that. That the idea, they think the mask is like being kind of just like something forced upon them. Well, while it's being told that you should wear a mask, if for some reason you can't get a hold of a mask, at least try to like practice safe social distancing.
Well,
I don't think we should call it social distancing. I think we should be calling it like physical distancing, because it's not like
It's not just
you need
socially,
to actually distance
it's
yourself
around anybody. I mean, there are people that carry this virus and have no idea. It's
Yeah, if I remember correctly from when I was working in healthcare, they were telling us it was around 30 to 40% of people who have it are atypical, which means they're never going to show symptoms.
and I mean it goes for anybody. Somebody could lean past you to pick up some cheese at the damn supermarket, and I mean, just being that close and then breathing around you,
And that's all I mean.
that's all it takes. It's important. The last thing I want to see is another wave come through, because I know, at least in Tennessee, I don't think that if another wave were to come back as bad as it was, I don't think that the healthcare system is really adequately equipped for it.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Yeah.
Well, I have a
Yeah, man.
question. So I kind of already talked about it, but is there any positives that have come out of this whole thing? Like, I know all three of us were essential workers, so we didn't necessarily have time off to do stuff, but a lot of people have been like learning new skills, learning just like new languages, like just using their time to benefit themselves. Have you guys, has there been any sort of positives that have came out of the COVID for you guys?
I know for me, I've definitely paid more attention to like the political side of the United States. Reading some tweets that kind of go directly against medical advice and medical professionals. By the way, masks are not a social construct to see who is obedient. They are proven to actually stop the spread of disease. Let's just get that out there.
And they and let's clarify, they don't stop you from getting it. It stops you from spreading
Yeah.
it.
The masks help some with keeping you from getting it, but I mean, your eyes and stuff, I mean, that's why we wear face shields in the hospital. You can get the virus from it going into your eyes, everything like that. So masks help. Wear a mask, save a life, and yeah.
So you, what would you say it's benefited you? Like how would it been? How has it benefited
I mean,
you, if you could sum that
before
up?
all of this, I was pretty laid back and didn't really pay attention to, like I said, the political side of the United States.
So it kind of got you more into like politics.
Somewhat actually, paying attention
Somewhat.
to things that are being said. I mean, I have a Twitter. I follow political figures on Twitter and seeing how they have handled everything. I've also, taken a look at the stock market, and which stock market is in a completely different world than what's going on right now. When anybody says that the economy is not doing too hot because of everything, they're talking about small businesses. Big corporations are doing just fine. Do not feel bad for them. It's helped me open my eyes to a little bit more than just my career and then what I do in my personal life.
Okay, so maybe it like kind of opened up a box of stuff you wouldn't necessarily have been keeping an eye
things
on.
I wasn't necessarily interested in. I now keep up with.
Not that you didn't care about, but more like you were given the entryway into something bigger than what you were thinking about before.
All right. What about you, Ryan?
I mean, it's been all right. I mean, it's definitely given me time to be at home now more, at home with my daughter, so that's fine. I appreciate that. There was something else I was gonna say, and I'm losing it on what it is. But just giving me more time to do things that I otherwise wouldn't be doing because I'd be going out or I'd be just doing stupid shit, It's just been more calm in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think it helped me save a little bit of money. I was more conscious about where my money was going. Wasn't spending it on stuff I didn't need as much. Just being a little more careful.
Right, yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, half of money being spent is you just going to the store, seeing something, and then that being that, and you picking it up.
Yeah,
like, if I didn't go to the store ever, I wouldn't be buying anything.
Yeah, I was just trying to buy only the stuff I really needed for a little while, just because nobody really knew what was going to happen.
I
there was a lot of hysteria.
Opposite, though. I think I ended up spending more money. Not that like I was never a believer in this like over preparedness for this. Like when everybody went to the stores and they picked up all the toilet paper and bought out all the meat. I was never like really about that. But like once everything started to slow down, I started to probably spend more money at the grocery store just to make sure that we had than I typically would, because I'm like so money conscious that when I buy stuff, I'm like, I have like mini panic attacks, like, oh my god, I just spent like $150 at the grocery store. This is gonna last me a week. It's just I've been caring a little bit less on that front. So that
is interesting. I've been more careful. You kind of been spending more money because you're not panic buying, but I know where you're coming from. I understand.
Well, before I would buy so relaxed. Like if I needed something, I would just go to the store that day. If I wanted to make something for dinner, I would just go to the store that day and pick it up. Now that I shouldn't be going out that often, I'm trying to limit it to like once a week that I go out and buy groceries, or at most twice. And it's I'm just spending more money at once.
Yeah.
Than I typically would.
I understand.
It was so surreal going to the store, getting off work and going to the store to pick something up on the way home, and just everything being gone, like nothing on the shelves.
Yeah.
There was no meat, obviously no toilet paper,
there was no eggs.
All the
they were out of
frozen
milk.
food was gone. Just crazy.
Yeah, and I think you said it, but the ramen noodles, man.
They were all gone, dude.
Yeah, they only had the really, really bad and the more expensive stuff that's always on the top shelf because nobody really wants it.
Are you talking about the microwave yakisoba noodles, or?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the yakisoba. I think it's the other brand.
Teriyaki beef, man.
Yeah, the yakisoba is the good stuff, but
okay.
they have like a.
Like, at the Kroger that we frequent, that shit's on the top.
Yeah, but there's a really bad one next to it that's never sold out.
Oh, I gotcha. We bought a bunch of that not too long ago. We have touched like 2 boxes of it though. So.
Yeah. I've noticed the best place to buy that is I went to a Target.
I frequent
Yeah.
Target regularly, but that's because I have a kid. So.
But yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I
Any,
mean, I definitely think that a lot's changed for the better. I would like to say for all of us during this time, it's been a little bit
Eye-opening.
Eye-opening, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Logan, I'm sorry you were about to say something before I interrupted you.
I was just gonna say, like, you guys got anything else?
I mean, I can bring up another topic if you guys want, or we can just call the podcast now.
Just to
like to call it a short one for
just
the first
to
episode.
say something real quick. Just throwing this out there. Essential workers should be paid more, and I'm not talking about like me. I mean, I make enough to live. That's fine. But all the grocery store workers and fast food workers and stuff like that had to stay open, that a bunch of boomers say is like a non-skilled job, definitely deserve to be paid more. I think they have this whole time. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I mean, I totally agree with you. There was for a short time that I know Amazon was increasing pay for their workers and well, for one, in their distribution
Amazon
areas.
is a whole different story.
Which should have been done because that whole place needed to get paid extra. But then, like, I know Whole Foods got paid a couple of dollars extra for the first like month and a half that COVID really was hitting hard.
Yeah, Walmart was given bonuses on every single paycheck too.
As they should. Essential workers, I mean, it's not the people out there that own the businesses or anything like that. They are fine. It's the people that actually have to deal with the public and are exposing themselves every day just to get paid slave labor wages. It's terrible.
And I don't think it has anything to do with not us, but like the people above us making these businesses pay these people more. I think just the businesses should be doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, they like, shouldn't have to.
That's why, like,
be told by a government official or anything like that. They should just say, okay, well maybe I don't need to buy a 6 house this summer. Maybe I can pay my employees a little bit more so they can buy their first house.
7-figure bonus.
Yeah, I don't remember what company I was reading, but one company said he just gave his whole salary. The CEO of the company gave his whole salary to all of his employees, so that they would be better off because he didn't need it.
Exactly.
Obviously, he's the CEO of a big company.
To be fair, he probably has money elsewhere that it just
for sure.
Stock incentives.
So I imagine
and
his
things
savings
like that,
account is looking beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it definitely shouldn't have to be said, but you make a great point,
Yeah.
All right. I personally think that's a good note to end on. We should be doing these every week, if not every 2 weeks. I don't think we've decided quite yet, but you'll start to notice how they come out. And if it's every 2 weeks, then that just will be the rotation. And if it's every week, then it'll just be every week. We'll just see how it goes. So thank you everybody for listening today. And we'll see you next time. Bye. And